hours when no one's around. I'm lost in silence but no peace is found. The weight of the world feels heavy on me, searching for strength, trying to breathe. But I know there's the light waiting just out of sight. So I'll rise from the shadows, I'll break free. With each step forward, finding the real me. I'll stumble, I'll fall, but I keep moving on, turning my pain into the power of a new dawn. Thoughts come crashing like waves on shore, each one louder than the one before. Echoes of doubt, shadows of fear, building up walls I've carried for years. Every stumble's a step toward a life that's a death. So I'll rise from the shadows, I'll break free. With each step forward, finding the real me. I'll stumble, I'll fall, but I keep moving on, turning my pain into the power of a new dawn. Here I stand, stronger than before, embracing the light, ready to soar.
It was the kind of night that wrapped itself in shadows, where only the faintest sounds punctuated the silence. Rain pattered softly against the cobblestones, sliding down darkened windows like unseen fingers tracing a secret. The city was a sleeping giant, and tonight, only a few souls stirred within its walls. The detective stepped out of his car, his silhouette blending with the gloom. He moved with a deliberate calm, each step an assertion of his presence, yet a careful effort not to disturb the silence around him. Dressed in a trench coat and fedora, his form was almost an anachronism, a figure from a different time, a quiet echo of an era when detectives moved like shadows, unseen yet always watching. The bank stood before him, an old building that had witnessed decades of transactions, quiet betrayals, and whispered deals. Its grand columns loomed, and its stone walls bore the wear of years gone by. Tonight, the bank's grandiosity had been defied. A thief had slipped in and out, undetected, taking nothing less than a mystery with them. As the detective entered, his senses sharpened, tuned to the smallest details. The air inside was stale and heavy, touched with the faint metallic scent of money and dust. He allowed his eyes to adjust to the dim lighting, noting how the lobby's shadows seemed to cling to every surface, as if concealing secrets. The room was eerily still, as if frozen in time. Even the slightest sound would have been jarring here, yet there was nothing. It was a silence crafted with precision, almost reverent, the kind of quiet that comes not from the absence of sound, but from its careful erasure. This was not just an unremarked crime. It was a performance, a heist staged with the same meticulous care as a symphony. He moved across the floor, his shoes brushing against the layer of dust on the floor, barely disturbing it. Here and there he noticed imprints, shifts in the dust, trails that formed a path. His gaze followed these markings as they led him deeper into the bank, toward the vault at the far end of the room. He crouched down, studying the trail closely. his mind dissecting the marks as if they were a complex code. Someone had walked this path with a deliberate, quiet confidence. This thief knows silence, he thought, allowing himself a moment of respect. They're not here to make a name for themselves. They're here to erase one. He rose and continued his silent inspection, each step measured and careful, echoing the thief's precision. His breath was barely a whisper, as if he feared disturbing the delicate quiet. His mind began piecing together fragments, weaving them into possibilities, hypotheses, theories. It was an exercise he knew well. The quiet art of deduction, the subtle craft of noticing what others overlooked. For him, the absence of noise was a map, and each silent detail was a marker leading him to the heart of the mystery. Then he saw it, a small folded note resting beside the heavy steel door of the vault. He bent down, his gloved fingers reaching for the note, lifting it delicately. The paper was surprisingly crisp, untouched by the damp air, and it bore an unusual symbol, a mask with a slight smile, painted in delicate, precise lines. A chill passed through him as he studied the note. This was no random calling card. This was a message, calculated and intentional, left by someone who wanted to be heard without speaking a word. The whisper, he mused inwardly, recognizing the symbol as the calling card of a figure whispered about in dark circles, an elusive thief known only by rumors. The whisper had made a name by leaving no trace, by disappearing without a sound, a figure who moved like a ghost in the night, a shadow within shadows. Yet here they had left something, a symbol, a trail, an invitation to follow. He unfolded the note carefully. Inside was a single line, written in neat, almost elegant handwriting. Silence is golden. Follow it. Beneath the line was an address, scrawled in tiny letters, a location he recognized instantly. It was the city square, where tomorrow the streets would swell with life, with throngs of people attending the annual parade. The detective's jaw tightened at the thought. Crowds were his least favorite environment, a cacophony of noise and chaos that drowned out his senses, his instincts. And yet, it was clear that the whisper wanted him there, was drawing him into the open, away from the quiet spaces he preferred. Clever, he thought, slipping the note into his pocket. They're forcing me out of my element, but I'll be there. As he turned back toward the lobby, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was walking into a trap, yet he felt an inexplicable pull to see this through. This was no ordinary thief, and the whisper's intentions seemed to reach beyond a simple heist. It was as though the entire crime had been orchestrated not for profit, but as a message, a challenge set specifically for him. Outside, the rain had slowed to a drizzle, each droplet splashing softly against the darkened streets. He stepped out, feeling the cool night air on his face, his gaze settling on the faint glow of city lights reflected in the puddles on the cobblestone streets. The city stretched out before him, vast and quiet, a maze of alleys and forgotten corners, a place where mysteries nestled in the dark. Somewhere out there, the whisper was watching, waiting. The detective's hand slipped into his pocket, his fingers brushing against the note as if seeking reassurance. The weight of the paper felt heavier now, its significance pressing down on him with each step. The following day, the city was transformed. Streets that had been silent and empty the night before now swelled with life, as people gathered for the annual parade. The detective moved through the crowd with a quiet discomfort, his collar pulled up, his gaze fixed ahead, every nerve on edge. He could feel the weight of eyes on him, yet none that he could identify. The people around him were laughing, talking, shouting to be heard over the blaring music and the din of the crowd. But beneath it all, he sensed a presence, a shadow drifting just out of sight. He moved deliberately, letting himself become part of the flow, blending with the crowd. Each step felt heavier, each noise amplified in his ears. This was the Whisper's game, and he was walking right into it. Yet he knew, with the same quiet certainty that guided him through every case, that there would be something left behind, a clue hidden in the noise, a piece of the puzzle waiting to be found. He scanned the street with an intensity that set him apart, a quiet observer in a sea of noise. Then there it was, a small folded piece of paper tucked beneath a street bench, just visible beneath the shadows. He bent down, picking it up, the noise of the crowd fading to a dull hum as he read the familiar words. "Silence is golden. Follow it." His gaze lifted, scanning the street as he realized the game had only just begun. Somewhere in the crowd, the Whisper was watching, moving, disappearing into the chaos, leaving only traces of silence in their wake. He folded the note, his expression hardening. The chase had begun, and he would follow wherever the silence led. As night fell again over the city, the detective returned to his office, the weight of the day pressing down on him. He sat in the quiet, alone with his thoughts, the sound of the rain against the window, a comforting rhythm in the darkness. He opened his notebook, writing down each detail, each observation, each feeling that had stirred within him as he walked through the crowded streets. The Whisper had forced him to confront the noise, to step into a world of chaos that he usually avoided. It was uncomfortable, yet invigorating, a reminder that even in the noise, there were secrets waiting to be discovered. This was only the beginning. The Whisper had left a trail, and he would follow, into the silence, into the shadows, into the unknown. In the end, he knew silence would reveal all.
Every step She's within, here to stay.